Hi, and welcome to today's show, where I'll be sharing insights about some key features to do with this phone, which is the iPhone SE 2020. And then I'm going to tap into this mini series around the functionality of the kind of iPhone ecosystem so that you can learn how to use your iPhone more efficiently and effectively. So before I dive into all of that, if you're one of my regulars, great to see you again. Welcome. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Bybreen Samuels, and I help baby boomers reinvent themselves psychologically, practically, and technically so they can thrive in their third act of life. So the context to today's show is two-pronged. One, I received a request from one of my wonderful supporters and viewers. His name is Troy Fairclough. And he said, it'd be really great if you introduce what I'm going to call sort of the ABCs around technology. And I thought, well, what better way to do that than to tap into this supercomputer all of us have, we carry around with us every single day. So that was one reason. The second reason is I actually had my own phone gate. I had a phone meltdown a few weeks ago, which led me to buy this phone. It's not a brand new one, actually. It's a phone that's been refurbished, but I'll talk about that later. And so hence today is this focus on how can we use these supercomputers? I'm focusing on iPhone because that's what I know, or that's what I'm used to, I should say. And how can we use the functionality? It's a utility. How can we use that a lot better? So let's start with this phone. Now, this iPhone 2020 feels so good. It's smooth and it's silky, and it really does encourage you to pick it up and use it. That's the whole idea, but you've got to kind of work out when to actually put it down. So I do have my case. Green is my favorite color. You may have been able to tell. But with this phone, in terms of its design, very sleek, very accessible. Now, for me to get into my phone, it operates by a finger touch system. So I touch on it, I press on it, and then I enter my passcode. Obviously, I'm not going to do this here. And then this opens up the phone and I can begin using it. Now, what this phone doesn't have is facial ID. So that's more associated with more kind of contemporary up-to-date phones. This SE, which is the iPhone second generation, actually came out in 2020. So it's 3 years old, but still very functional. So the way to access this phone is by pressing on it, I get into the phone. Another thing about this phone is that it is 4.7 inches. The height of it is 4.7 inches, which is very different from the size of this phone, which is the iPhone 5 or 6. So you can see there's a difference in terms of the size. But what's nice is that I can literally just hold it in one hand and do what I need to do with the phone with one hand. So in terms of size, it's bigger than the iPhone 5 or 6 or maybe even 7, but it's smaller than a lot of the very contemporary phones. What you can also do is just literally charge this phone in a wireless way. So that's one of the great features of this design, is that even if you don't have your kind of plug and you charge it, if you're out and about in a wireless environment, you're able to charge this phone. The phone also comes in 3 colors. Obviously, you can see here, this is black, it comes in white, and it comes in red. So that's what happens in terms of the design of the phone. I now want to just turn to the performance of the phone. So the phone is powered by a bionic chip, A13 bionic chip. And this is the same chip that is used to power the iPhone 11 series of phones. So essentially, what does it do? It allows us to use the phone with ease and efficiency. So it doesn't matter what app you're using, if you're playing a game or if you're watching a video, the fact that it's got this bionic chip in it means that you can use it efficiently without puckering. That can sometimes take place when you're using your phone. Another thing you'll notice is at the back of the phone, it's known as a 12 megapixel rear camera. And so one of the great things about this camera, the rear camera, is that it offers a stabilizer. So imagine you wanted to take a picture, it covers the image and stabilizes it, so therefore it comes out in a very sharp and clear way. Another feature is that it offers 4K video recording, which is an enhanced way of recording video beyond the full high definition video. So they are some of the features that are connected from a performance point of view. And then lastly, it has this feature and it's called the Smart High Dynamic Range. And what it actually does, imagine you're going to take a picture and you're going to take 3 pictures of the same image. Well, this particular feature, what it does is highlights the best features from those 3 pictures, and then it integrates, it synthesizes these features and then presents you with the best quality, the highest image possible. So in terms of this phone, this is what it offers you from a performance point of view. You might be thinking, well, what's the actual operating system that it uses? Well, it's part of the Apple suite, obviously, and it's the iOS 16. So that's the software that's driving, the current software that's driving all of the kind of Apple, ecosystem. And so whenever there is an update, the next one actually is going to be iOS 17 that comes out in September of this year. But whenever there is a new update, what it does, it includes more features. So with regards to this current phone and the current update, what it does, it's introduced this feature whereby you've got iCloud photo sharing. And it's a way whereby Apple has integrated more collaboration with friends and families. What do I mean by this? So you can upload pictures, you can edit pictures, you can delete pictures together because it's a sharing. You can share the facility with your family and friends. What it also does is with regards to messaging, for example. So imagine you're messaging friends, you can upload and you can share a video. You can also share audio whilst you're there with your friends. Another feature that it offers is that there's something whereby you can focus down. So you're working on something, you're trying to improve your productivity. And a feature within the software enables it to start shutting down all of these notifications and distractions even, that can interrupt your productivity. So there's a way whereby within the actual system of the phone that you can begin to focus down on your work. And then there's another feature whereby you can begin to track. So just imagine you've ordered some food, I don't know, from Deliveroo, for example. And so with the live screen feature, what it enables you to do is to begin to track the delivery of your food. So you've ordered your food, let's say you ordered it at midday today, and it's due in 30 minutes. Through this feature of lock screen, you can begin to track in real time what's happening. So that's what the iOS system enables you to do. And then lastly, there's the battery life of this particular phone. And so you could charge the phone up to 50%, for example, within 30 minutes. But when the phone is fully charged, what it actually offers each of us is up to 13 hours of video playback, which is, such a long period of time. Or it could be 40 hours of audio. So there's a lot of capacity that the phone actually offers, whether it's audio or whether it's video. So when we're looking at this phone in its entirety, these key features really does enhance the collaboration, really does give us more functionality, because at the end of the day, our phones are utilities. They help with productivity, they help with access. And so if you're looking to replace your phone, whether you buy full price, because full price, this phone runs at about $400, about 330, 40 pounds, which is quite reasonable if you set it in the context of the cost of smartphones that we know could be, over £1,000 or even $1,000. So if you're looking for a smart, compact, efficient, accessible, as well as price conscious phone, then you're not going to go far wrong with having this particular phone. I don't want to show you the messages that are coming through. So it's really, really useful. Also, it contains all of the flagship, aspects that we're familiar with when it comes to iPhones. And so obviously you can text, you can email, you can take photos, you can voice note, you can make notes, all of the things that we're familiar with in terms of the Apple ecosystem. So that's what this phone, the iPhone SE 2020, offers. Now, beyond this particular phone, I want to kind of open it up to look at the functionality of the phone, the utility side of smartphones. And when we think about the Apple ecosystem, what you will do is you will go into your phone and you would go into settings. So you go into settings, and under settings has a list of actions that we can take. Today, I want to touch on the general setting, which for this iPhone SE 2020 is in the third section. I'll just move that up so that you can see that there. The top one is general. Click on general. And as the name points to, it's the kind of general features to do with the phone. So one of the features is about. And so when you click on the about feature, it's about this phone. It's an iPhone. What's the model? This model happens to be an iPhone SE. It will also point to the serial number and the model number that pertains to the phone. So when you go into the about section, under settings, a subcategory of settings, and then general, you can then find out more about the actual phone. Then when you want to look at, well, where do I go to update if there hasn't been an automatic update? What you will do is go back to settings, go into general, and then you can see under about, it's got software update. What you would do is you would click on the software update. Mine has been automatically updated, but in here, you will be able to see what is the latest software that your phone is currently using. Now, the current software is iOS 16, and as I mentioned, 17 comes out in September of this year. Now, if you happen to be iOS 14 or 15, then you can update it in this section. Let's now go back. You press the General tab, and you can go back, and there's a couple of cool features. One is called AirDrop, and the other is AirPlay, and I'll come to that second one in a minute. So AirDrop, what does this allow you to do? So imagine that you're out and about, you're with some friends, and you want to share some photos with them. So instead of, sending it as an attachment, what you can do, because you're all in the same vicinity, you could AirDrop the photograph. So you would, so for example, I'll show you mine. So my AirDrop category, I have just categorized it just for my contacts. So if I'm out with friends and I wanted to share something with them, then the phone knows that it's only going to people who are within my contact list. Now, you could have more of an open system. You're still out, but then you'd be receiving potential information from other people. But AirDrop is a facility that allows you to share information, share photographs with people who are in the same vicinity. Now, AirPlay is an interesting one. So you go back into General, and under AirDrop, you see AirPlay and Hand Off. Now, with AirPlay, this is a really cool feature, because what it allows you to do is to turn the iPhone into a webcam. So imagine that you're recording, you're shooting, you're recording video. Now, if you're recording it on your Mac laptop or on your Mac desktop, then your iPhone then can be used as the web camera. It can only work if the two devices are literally nearby each other. But you can't use the iPhone to do the same thing if you wanted to do that on a Windows operating system or on a PC. It has to sit within the ecosystem of Apple. But it's a really cool facility. You can have this additional camera. What else have we got? We've got iPhone storage. So how big is the container of your phone? So when we think about iPhone storage, again, you go back into general, go through settings, and then you will see iPhone storage as one of the categories. Now, essentially what this means is that I'm equating storage with the size of the container that is your phone. How big is the container that will house all your photos, all your videos, all your music, all of your apps? Everything that happens on your phone is contained on your phone, and the container sizes vary. So my container on this phone is 128 gigs. Now, it could start at 64 gigs, 128 gigs, and then it goes on to, I think, 312 gigs, and then 560 something gigabytes. So think about it, it's the container. So I know on my phone, I've got 128 gigs. I bought it with 128 gigabytes. Now, let's say, for example, you're somebody who wants to be shooting 4K videos and you want to shoot it on your iPhone, then you would need to buy an iPhone that's going to be more expensive, but it will have the capacity to house these 4K videos. So you would want something that's at least, in the 300, 400, 500 gigabyte range. And so when you go into the storage capacity, it shows you. So it will show you, for example, all the apps that you use, what's on your phone, all of the different apps. And as I said, at the top, you will see the storage capacity. You'll see it at the top, and it will tell you what the gig is and how much you've used. I've only used about a quarter, so I've still got quite a lot of information that I can put into my container. And then the last one that I want to bring to, no, there's two more. There's one called Home button, and I think this is really cool. So as you can see, Home button. When you click on Home button, what it allows you to do is to choose the feeling of when you press your Touch ID to get into the phone. You can actually program it so you know, is it a soft touch that allows you to get into the phone? Do you need to press it quite hard to get into the phone? And that's where you would literally program it. So here, the phone is adding another sensory component to it, which is really cool. Then the last aspect that I want to bring to your attention, again in the general setting, is right at the bottom. It's got transfer or reset your phone. So let's say, for example, you've had a virus on your phone and it's wiped it and you need to reset the phone to the factory settings. You would go into reset or transfer. You'd go into it, and this is where it allows you to prepare either the reset of the phone, or if you've got data on an old phone like I had and it needs to be transferred, all of the data that's sitting on your old phone needs to be transferred onto a new phone. That's where you would do it. You would go into transfer and reset, which is the bottom category within settings, general, and then the bottom category. So that's what I wanted to share with you today in terms of the kind of key features around the iPhone 20 SE 2020, which is the second generation or second edition. There has been a further update. There is an iPhone SE 2022 that came out last year. I haven't had sight or touch of it, but no doubt it will be, some of the applications will be more refined in a particular way. But you know, the iPhone SE 2020 is equally as effective. So that pertains to this. You know what some of the key features are. If you want an easy, accessible, but really great phone, you could do that. And then what I'm doing is this mini series around how to use your iPhone more efficiently so that you can get the best use out of it. So next week, in terms of this mini series, I'm going to be looking at how can we make, or how can we use the iPhone in a far more accessible way. So the kind of focus next week will be around accessibility, and I may include a couple of other features, but you have to tune in next week to find out if I do that or not. But I certainly will be looking at accessibility. So please invite friends, family, mums, dad, grandparents, colleagues, neighbours who sit within the wonderful generation of baby boomers so that they can learn how to use their smartphone, particularly around iPhone, because that's what I'm used to so far. How they can use that far more effectively, because it is a very powerful supercomputer. Do you know the cameras on iPhones are better than cameras that production houses used 20 years ago? They are that powerful. So that's it. Have a wonderful Easter. Enjoy the rest of the holiday. I will see you again next week, Sunday, 3:30 here. Stay well and have a wonderful week. Take care. Bye.